It's all about style at the end of the day.
You know, it becomes what you are rather than what you do.
How original can I make my name stand out above all the rest?
This may just be a bit of fun for you, but you're actually ruining someone's life.
It is damaging. It's not high-level crime, but it is damaging.
If I'm doing a piece, I don't think I'm doing some big crime. I just think I'm doing something more natural and more positive.
I wouldn't ever paint on someone's car, I would never paint on the side of some old cottage. But then when it comes to factories or commercial property in the centre of a city, I don't really care.
We're not here to stop people from doing what they enjoy doing. We are here to stop people from damaging other people's property.
It is just vandalism. However artistically it's done, it is vandalism. That's how it happens, that's how it starts, that is graffiti. I first got into graffiti around the summer of 1983. Before I started, in pretty much the whole of England, I think 3D and the Z Boys were probably the only guys painting, apart from a few guys in London. And it kind of caught the public's eye. There was a big article in Venue about stuff, lots of stuff in Evening Post about who were these people. And the kind of whole anonymity of it that Banksy's receiving now was happening then because it was new and no one knew about it. So it was quite an exciting time. When I took it up with some fellow friends called FLX and Jinx of the Crime It crew, there wasn't a massive crowd of people doing it, but it gradually mushroomed and mushroomed. Then we had guys from Swindon and Birmingham, so it became a national thing, and then we started to go to Europe.
We started practicing doing tags and designs and, you know, out in the backyard, and then vandalising the lane around the back of the house, and then spread out across the city, slowly but surely.
Just seeing your art in a large format around your area and being able to walk around, kind of point at things and say that I've done that and I've done that. And watching your name go by, I think, is how they phrase it in a certain book.
I guess it combined our love of art with something sort of rebellious and fun, exciting, a bit dangerous, a bit anti-establishment. I mean, what more do you need to appeal to teenagers, really?
Since graffiti first started appearing on the streets of the UK almost 30 years ago, it's come a long, long way. It's more popular, more accepted, and has moved into galleries and onto our living room walls. A trend best illustrated by the artist Banksy, whose work now sells for hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Public perception of graffiti has changed a lot, and a lot in the last few years actually, and you could probably roughly tie it with Banksy's kind of active career and fame. Before, in a lot of people's minds, it was associated with, you know, it was just something, it was a bit of an eyesore, part of the grey fabric of inner city life. It had bad associations. You'd think if an area has loads of graffiti up, probably means it's unsafe. Now, I think a lot more people are opening their eyes when they're walking around the street saying, what have we got on the streets around here?
People saw it as a violent, kind of trouble-breeding environment. Now, things have gone more along an iconic kind of image-based stuff rather than lettering. People see it as beautiful art and just pieces of street art rather than the graffiti that they used to perceive as being bad. So I think it's generally evolved for the better.
But perhaps where graffiti has made its biggest impact is in the fine art world. At his Kensington gallery, Acaris and Deeper has had unprecedented interest in an exhibition of his own personal Banksy collection.
We've done exhibitions of Warhol, Lichtenstein, Hockney, Damien Hirst. We usually would expect approximately 200 people maximum on a Saturday, whereas we're getting closer to 3,500. Well, I think the key to his success is simply the freshness. I mean, he's young, he's dynamic, there's something very new. We haven't had anything really fresh and dynamic in the market since Damien Hirst and his contemporaries, which is now arguably 15 years old. So we've had this void in the British art scene for 15 years, and along comes Banksy and also his contemporaries, and have really shaken it and stirred it all up. The controversy is part of the fun and part of the process of contemporary art, and we're seeing that played out perfectly with the Banksy and urban art scene. I think now it's probably quite safe to say that we've gotten past the point of no return for the urban movement, in exactly the same way that I'm sure my peers 20 years ago, 30 years ago would have said about pop art. Urban art movement, I think, has become the new contemporary pop art.
But this thirst for art with a graffiti background isn't just coming from established wealthy buyers. There's an ever-increasing number of local galleries, exhibitions, coffee table books benefiting from the increased interest in the art.
A year or two ago, there was maybe one street art show going on at any one time. Now there's probably half a dozen. So there's been a massive increase in gallery shows of street art. I think it's about exposure. The art world, just like anything else, at the bottom line is an industry, isn't it? It's a business that's trying to make money. I think they've just got a good commercial head on them, and they recognise that there's a massive taste for this stuff right now. So yes, it's led by popularity and figures, just like many other things, I think.
The artist Paris has been painting graffiti for 20 years. He now makes a living from his art and has his own take on how graffiti has arrived where it is today.
I think it's just been a matter of time for graffiti to be accepted by the public. I think it could always see it coming because it's the art of the people. And now it's great that it's actually getting exposure to all walks of life. I think the media's got a big part to play in helping that, and it has done since the beginning, since the times in New York. It's books and documentaries and films that have helped spread the word of graffiti. Now it's far more digestible for major collectors, for major galleries. I think they're finally getting it at last, after 30 years of us, you know, painting the streets outside their offices or whatever. Now they're really starting to sit up and take notice.
But having more people starting to take notice of graffiti brings problems of its own.
But, you know, I mean, you could always ask people to put forward ideas.
I'm not. I don't want any ideas off anyone else. I want to paint what I want to paint. If you go around to the Duke of York, you know, around the corner, I painted that. I mean, that's for the public. This is for us.
Okay.
All right.
It's just the public see it.
Everyone sees it. I see it as well. But if I tried to please everyone on the road by here, it'd be like cooking a pizza with everyone's favourite topping. It would be disgusting.
I doubt there'd be many people who'd say, that's what I've always wanted to see along there.
I'm not bothered, you know.
No, I'm sure you're not.
Since the rise of public art and since the rise of Banksy, it's kind of made everyone an art critic. Everyone thinks they've got something to say about it. I respect his opinion, but this is for us. I'm painting for myself and anyone that likes this today.
All this interest in graffiti has left the authorities divided over whether street art should ever be sanctioned. The retrospective approval given to a Banksy piece by Bristol City Council has sparked considerable debate.
Well, somewhere just over a year ago, I actually became aware that this had been put up overnight, and we were actually asked, is it going to stay there? And the first response was, well, I think people will probably like it. Let's test that out. So we put consultation out through the council websites, and amazingly, 93% of Bristolians said they want to be kept.
Councillor Hopkins put it to the vote because he didn't have the guts to make a decision himself. He wanted everybody else to say. As I've said, I don't disapprove of the picture per se. I just think that if you allow it to stay, you're condoning vandalism.
Bristol City Council, they used to set us up with an art project and then they'd shut it down the next week. They used to fund us to do painting in legal places. All we ever asked for was a legal site to paint. They never gave it to us. And now they're like hero worshipping Banksy stuff, and I mean it's completely, they've turned their argument around, so in a way it's completely hypocrisy. I see they're just using it because they see it's popular with the masses and they want to, you know, tag along to that.
Making an exception of Banksy seems to throw up some contradictions, but officially the authority's stance remains unchanged.
We have to be very, 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 very clear as an authority that we don't tolerate graffiti in the form of illegal art or tagging in any way, shape or form. And the only graffiti we do support in an art form is that is commissioned and controlled and supported by the local communities. If you